I got this piece on Facebook Marketplace for $40. It wasn't in too bad of condition except for the top. It was really marked up and dug up, and that veneer was not worth anything. It was going to need some work. I'm starting with an 80 grit on my orbital sander. This is a 90s 150. I sanded the top lightly with an orbital sander and then finished the rest by hand. I used a 150 grit. So even though I washed it first, sanding, it doesn't bring up much on the top, but whatever wood is on the bottom, it's just very, very yucky. So I know it's a bleeder. I'm going to use a paint that I've never used before. It's the Pureco, I think how you say it, from Australia. And so I'm going to use a primer, shellac-based primer, base coat before I put anything on. Hey, so because this is such a bleeder, I'm going to use a really heavy primer. It's Zinnser's oil-based primer. And so somebody might have the question, can you use an oil-based primer, with water-based paint? And the answer is yes. You have to let it dry, very completely before you go from one base to the next, which I plan to do. And so I don't know yet what I'm going to do to the top. So, and I don't want to ruin my brushes. I have this old sponge, so I am going to use this. Not that oil ruins your brushes, it's just that, I have to use paint thinner and to get the brushes clean, and I kind of hate doing that. So for this time, I'm going to use a cheap chip brush for any spots, and then I'm just going to start with a roller. And this roller, I've used it several times for different things, so it's getting a little worn. So I figured I would use it up. Now sometimes when you put on your primers, you can see spots where there might be dings or dents or bubbles, anything like that. It enhances all that. So I still might have to fill some spots on this table, but we'll see. I don't even really like getting it on my hands. I know, I could wear gloves, but... Now Now too, you know, if there's a little nit or something in it that I find afterwards, I can always put some sandpaper to it and get rid of it that way. So I'm not worried about that. Oops. That's because I'm not looking at what I'm doing. I'm looking at the camera to make sure the video's coming through. It sure is going to be nice when they finish the shop. So it will be up in my old barn, and I've been dying to use it ever since I bought this place, which has actually been a few years now, but you know, everything takes time. All good things come to those who wait. Okay, you had enough of that? We'll take it up later. Okay. I've been taking to wearing this instead of getting paint all over my clothes. I'll probably get tired of wearing it though. So I'm going to start by just going around and seeing if there are any drips, which I'll cut off with a razor. And I'm going to also give it a very light sand with a well-used 150 grit, just to make sure there are no nits there. And I kind of looked at it a little bit. Just kind of eyeball it. From here, anyway. I mean, I might find more when I flip the table over. And so I'll just kind of deal with it then. I don't want to sand off my primer. Just give it a little light sanding. And but I have a little bit of a drip right here, so I'm going to bend out that knife so that the edge of the point of the blade doesn't get it, just a little bit of the edge. Right. Now I'm not making lots of dust, or I'm just basically just kind of touching over it. Yep. And I'll take an old rag, make sure there's nothing there, and dust it off. And these are the three colors. So this white is like an iridescent. It's really, really pretty. This is the cotton. It's the same way. It has an iridescence to it. And then this darker one is the gum nut, which is pretty. And that's where I'm going to start, is with that color of gum nut. So I have a few cheapish chip brushes. I do my blending with, a better boar's head bristle round brush, because I like that. So, yep. Very subtle color. And I don't know about you, but I've been starting on a project and had, a primer on, and my first coat of paint, or paints, and then I changed my mind because I don't like it. But I'm definitely going to use these. They look like lovely paints, and I have to give a shout out to Rochelle. Thank you, Rochelle, of Mono Lane, and I will link her video site below, because if you're not watching her, you have to. She's lovely and funny and just such a good person. And she's an Aussie, and she introduced me to these paints. And actually it was the stripper. Of course, I watch her YouTube videos, and she uses all different things, all different kinds of paints, but they have a paint in Australia called Pureco. Like I said, I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but hope you'll forgive me for that. And it just looks so nice, and I wanted to try it. And plus, I needed a stripper. I just got it, and I actually haven't used it, but just watching her use that stripper in Australia on her projects, and the paints come off so easily. And I said, you know what, that looks like something that I'm going to try, because I've tried a few different types of strippers here in the United States, and how they changed formulas, and they just, it's not as good as it used to be. And when I use them, I kind of struggle. So I figured I would try the Pureco stripper, and while I was at it, I was going to get a few paints. So yeah. And this seems to have worked out well. So I'm not quite sure how far down I'm going to go, but probably a good way down with a dark color. That stretcher was bent on its dowels, and so I released it and re-glued it and then clamped it again. It came out fine. This is hide glue. So that's been on overnight, and let's see how it's looking. It actually dried a little crooked. I think what I'm going to do is pop it apart. See this part? Unless it looks level when I flip it over, because you never know with that kind of thing. So I'll check it. And if it looks like it's twisted, I'm going to have to pop it out and do it again. So you know how I said if those glue joints don't stay together, or if it comes out crooked, I'll take it apart and redo it. Lucky us. We get to do it again. And when I glued them, I used old brown glue, and it's a hide glue. And one of the good things about using a hide glue is that you can reactivate it with heat. So I'm going to take my blow dryer, and we're going to throw some heat on it, loosen the joints, and then re-glue it. So let's do it. Here there were just a few cracks and splinters on the drawer edge. It doesn't have to be crazy tight, just tight enough to hold those shards down nice and securely. Okay, so that sat overnight. Actually, let's put it on this side. And we'll see what else we have to do with it. We, meaning the cat and I. Oh, looks good from here. All I'm going to do is fill it with a little bit of wood putty. And then I'll sand it off. Bring it up to the camera. So this is where we put the glue. And I guess, you know, if you look down at it, you can kind of see it a little bit better. So let's get some wood putty. Just the smallest amount. And then I'll be able to sand that down and smooth off any rough edges right here on the side. I did find this quite challenging to blend the Pureco paints. It did come out okay, but it was a little bit of a learning curve. It dries really quickly, which makes it tough to blend. So you have to keep it really moist. And it has a thin texture to it, so when you add water, it thins it out quite a bit. I did get the hang of its nuances though. It ended up with a really aged look, which I loved. here I switched to some different brands of paints. I think that's Waverly, and then I use Dixie Belle. Let's use some of the Pureco. And just lighten it up a bit. Lighten it very gently. So now I'm going to be using my round brushes, natural bristle brushes, because I'm just going to be laying the paint on, you know, some kind of way. So the only thing I know for sure is that this is going to take that blue flower. So let's start off with that. And I'm actually going to spray my brush. And these bristles always come out no matter how many times I use them. These brushes are so old, but they shed and shed and shed. They never get tired of shedding. Yep. Okay. Because I'm going to end up double dipping my brushes. And give it some white. Oh, it's really springy colors. It's so pretty. right, and this one will be my green. Here's my sprayer. Dang things. The way this green looks with it. Oh, it's got green and blue. That's interesting. How about some lavender? If you can hear some little thing in the background, that's my cat snoring. Too funny. They say it's always darkest before the dawn, and it's the same way with painting. It's always ugly at first, but it's going to end up just fine. I really like this brush. Okay, so this is actually the name of the stencil is Royal Damask, or Damask. Let's see. So I'm just centering it, and because the front of this table is scalloped, it's not going to really be even, so I just want to make sure that it's even across the top. And I'm going to slap a piece of tape on there, a couple, just to make sure. And I have a small stippling brush. I don't know what kind. It's Art Basics. Each side of the table will have a different stencil pattern on it, just for fun. And over the stencils, I'm going to do some transfers. And there will also be transfers on the front and the back. I don't believe I mentioned it, but the paint that I'm using here is Rustoleum Champagne Gold. It's a metallic paint by Rustoleum. And it's one of my favorite colors. It has a beautiful texture to it. You can do anything to it. Try to get some of this to go back. Yep. Precious stuff. Just need to make that a little too. I don't like my paint tops to just get sticky. Okay, one is Morning Peonies, and the other is Mystic Hydrangea. And those are both redesigned with Prima transfers. They're the small transfers, but as you can see, these are a good size. They're not huge, but that's okay. So try not to put fingers on the back of this. And I'm going to start over here in the corner. Let me see if I can get the camera up there. One of my favorite things to do when I'm doing furniture is to use a mixed media. And you can really do anything you want to do. Okay, here I'm using Howard's Citrus Shield paste wax. And I've already put 4 coats of General Finishes Flat Out Flat clear coat. And now I'm finishing it with some clear wax. And I'm going to add some white wax to the top as well. This is a white linen rag. Now these rags I got at Aldi's, and I don't know why, I just saw the package there and it said white linen towels, and they were huge towels, and I cut them up in small pieces because they are perfect for waxing. Okay, so I'm decorating the rim of the tabletop with gold gilding wax, and the color is King Gold, I think. I believe it's King Gold, and it's Pebeo, P-E-B-E-O, and it has the most luscious smell. You can do this with a brush as well. Usually what I do is I do a first pass with my finger, and then I go around with a small brush and make right any details. You know, there's something about a finger that you have so much control over. Better even than a brush, you know. But either way. Now, if there was a terrible mistake, and not a terrible mistake, but if I got wax where I didn't want it, say, I can take some clear wax and rub it on there. It works like an eraser. So it's okay. It's not to worry. Not too much. Yeah, so we're gonna go all around the edges with that. Look how pretty that looks. So cool.